Well, at least they gave me this. No, really? Hello, Alex. My name is Clone42 or Connor, blah blah blah. I've convinced the rest of the clones to let you do your own game every second review. Blah blah blah. Going to get you out. Blah blah blah. For now, just continue on with what you're doing. Blah blah blah. I'll contact you again. Blah 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 blah. See. Well, there's only one thing to do now. Follow the music's orders. From the words of the completionist, oh yeah, Mega Man X, this is going to be awesome! Well, I could drag on for about 5 minutes why Mega Man X is so awesome, but instead we're just gonna go straight into the review. Let's do this.
The classic Mega Man games were awesome and game-changing, and by the time the SNES rolled around, Mega Man was a pretty well-known franchise. So people were expecting another Mega Man game, but for some reason, 4, 5, and 6 were all released on the NES. So, sadly, the fans would not get another classic Mega Man game until 5 years after the SNES was released. Luckily though, in the meantime, we got Mega Man X, and it is awesome. A new character, new moves, and they kept the same format as the original. To this day, it is considered to be one of the best Mega Man games of all time, and my personal favorite Mega Man game. So, let's see what makes Mega Man X one of the best Mega Man games of all time. Mega Man X is set 100 years after the classic Mega Man games, and not to get too complicated, X, who was created by Dr. Light, is awakened by Dr. King, and decides to build more robots based Dr. X designs, which is able to think freely and make decisions freely. The new robots are named Reploids, and for not known reasons, they start to harm humans. These robots were named Mavericks, and another group was made up of these same robots who made to hunt the Mavericks, being labeled Maverick Hunters. Okay, stop. They could have thought of a much better name than Maverick Hunters, right? What about Munters? Wait, that's so much worse. The leader of the Maverick Hunters was a robot named Sigma, but eventually he also turns evil and becomes the leader of the Mavericks, and brings some of the Maverick Hunters with him, leaving X and Zero to be one of the only ables to beat Sigma. But in normal Mega Man fashion, he must now beat the 8 Mavericks and to get to Sigma himself, which include Launch Octopus, Chill Penguin, Armored Armadillo, Flame Mammoth, Storm Eagle, Spark Mandrill, Sting Chameleon, and Boomer Quanger? Quanger? Let's go with Boomer Quanger. Right? Hopefully? Please? And with that, the game begins. Now, no one said the story had to be overly complicated or unbelievably simple, but I think it finds just the right place to be. The information you get from the game would be from the later half of what I just said, but if you decide to look a bit further, not only the later games, but by doing some of the other side stuff in this game, you would find out the rest of that, and that's awesome. Giving just enough story for people who don't want to look, and more story for the people that do look, that's like, well, I guess that's awesome! I already mentioned how good Mega Man X looks in my Shaq Fu review, but I'll bring it up again anyways. The game looks, once again, awesome! Actually, I have an idea. Let's start an awesome counter. Almost messed up that time. I think I've said it 3 times already. Okay, now, let's continue. But why is it so good? Well, to start off, the foreground looks great. The colors and designs fit whatever stage you're on. For example, in Launch Octopus' stage, everything fits that beachy sea mood that we're going for. Or in Armadillo stage, where everything fits once again. And even the background looks great, something you're not really paying attention to. Well, they put effort in that too. And this is a big part of the game. It seems like they put a lot of work in this game, like this specific part of the game too. Maybe even so to Triumph Classic Mega Man. Maybe that's why they did it, so that people would like X better. it doesn't even end there. A huge part of why this game is so awesome is the music. You didn't think I would leave out the music, would you? The music is just simply amazing, and it only helps to invest you in this game. It may also be one of the best parts of this game, if not the best. There's not one song in the soundtrack that I don't like, and that's really rare. If you're wondering what my favorite is, it's a three-way tie between the opening stage, Chill Penguin, and Sugna Stage 1. The only way to truly express how good this song is to just let you listen to the song without interruption for about 30 seconds. So, that's what I'm going to do. There are so many awesome parts of this game. Even the gameplay is awesome. Now, the normal Mega Man is here, jump and shoot. But since this game is all about turning something much greater than you once were, there are also a few new moves, like the dash ability and wall jumping. Both amazing implements to the gameplay to mix up the normal Mega Man style. You can still charge up these shots like in the previous Mega Man games, but it just feels so much better in this game for some reason. Maybe it's the extra charger to get, or maybe it's because that sound effect is just so damn satisfying. Now, the game still follows the same format as the normal Mega Man game, but with a bit of a twist. You have to fight 8 Mavericks, getting their abilities to possess the game in a sort of chain reaction effect. But this is where the twist comes in. When you defeat 1 Maverick, usually that will help you in a future stage. It brings the chain reaction to a whole new level. In fact, this worked out so good that you can find the same reaction effect in the wonderful, the infamous, the delicate Mega Man number 9. I mean, Mighty number 9. Which I will get to you one day, just as soon as I learn how to unmicrowave stuff. Another new addition to the game are the upgrades, which are a nice addition, because game can get admittedly very difficult without these upgrades, but at the same time, I think that's what the point was. Now, in one of my past reviews, I mentioned how upgrades are a cheap way of character development, but in this game, it's done amazingly. It's tied right into the main theme of the game, so it actually fits the narrative. But to get to it, these upgrades consist of health upgrades, which are in every stage. 4 sub-tanks, and 5 upgrades. Like, normal upgrades to your abilities. Which I did collect all for 100% save file. Wow, really should just change my name to Completionist. A. The gameplay to this game is also really responsive and tight. Unlike the previous game I played in the show, which was, just a doozy. Now, not everything in the gameplay is perfect. Sometimes I couldn't get the jump I wanted consistently, and the game is really vague with gameplay at some points. But after it's all said and done, the gameplay is still awesome! Now, usually, even I would consider if difficulty should be implemented into the final rating. But this is one game that cannot be argued that the difficulty should be put on here, because it is such a vital part of the Mega Man games, and Mega Man X is not different. The difficulty of this game is punishing, but also very rewarding. A very common thing in hard games, especially in a game like Dark Souls, which is another video for another day, but let's focus on Mega Man X. To go further on this punishing but rewarding subject, you might get really angry at a boss and maybe you lost to him 50 times, and when you finally beat the boss, you get super excited. Difficulty games take advantage of this, and Mega Man X is no different. The difficulty is also very much ties into the story. Once again, the main theme of the game is that you're a robot working up from the bottom, and as you get stronger and stronger, the stages get easier and easier, and that's, terrific. Wait, that doesn't make sense. One of the only gripes I have with the game is that the final boss is a little difficult in the rest of the context of the game. It is a very big endurance test, and even if you killed the first 2 forms with the Hadouken, the last form is still hard even with full health. And if I'm being honest, I didn't know how I beat this boss. There were also a few parts here and there that seemed a little unfair if you didn't go for the upgrades, but all in all, the difficulty is still pretty fair. time on it takes Sigma himself. But first, let's get one of those last collectibles. Okay, now I'm ready. After making it through the first stage of Sigmas, we find out that Zero has been captured by the person who kicked her ass at the beginning of the game, Vile. But unlike before, this time we have to do the saving. Turns out we are still a leak. One last time, Zero helps us out, we gain full health, now it's time to really kick this guy's ass. After defeating him, it turns out that Zero was too damaged in the fight, and he perishes. After a few more unimportant to the story boss fights in the Sigma stages, you make it to Sigma stage 4 and the final fight. First, he sends out, wait, is that Trouble? From, like, Trouble in Base? Or, am I just crazy? Wait, let me look, let's see, like, Trouble looks like. I mean, they kind of look similar. After defeating Value Guard with a good Hadouken! Sigma explains how you shall now die. And we finally get to fight the big guy himself, but after another good Hadouken! He's dead too. And then the final form emerges. Like I said before, the final form specifically is kind of hard, so you're going to have to bring your A game. Maybe your even A+ game. A? I'm sorry, I'll stop. But with enough trial and error, even you, I don't know what I'm saying, even you should even be able to defeat him. After X defeats Sigma, the whole fortress starts to blow up and it's time to get out. Once you get out, a good old scroll text explains what happens and X contemplates over the events that just transpired. And then he runs back to home base. I'm guessing that's what he's doing here, but after the credits are over, there's one last scroll text saying that he will be back. Oh! X2 anybody?
Mega Man X really is one of the best games I've ever played, and that's not an exaggeration for once. I don't know if I would actually put it on my top 10 games of all time list for me. I probably would, knowing me. I put every game on there. Not like every game. I mean, a lot. Like, I put a lot of games on there. Like, I probably have like 20 top 10 games on there. So, that's great. But, anyways, the ultimate rating of this game is 9.5. Now, there were a few flaws in it. Not many. Not, like, very, very few. There was a few technical problems here and there. They weren't, like, game-breaking, and they lasted for maybe a second, and then they fixed themselves. And then the story is also okay. It's not amazing. It's pretty... like, it's maybe above average. Just barely. And then the gameplay is pretty good. There are, as I said, I mentioned in the review, there are a few problems that I have with that I had with the gameplay. And the presentation got a perfect 10 because the presentation deserves a perfect 10. Like, going through the review and thinking back to the game, I cannot think of a single thing I did not like from the presentation. And even if I thought of a single thing I didn't like from the presentation, it'd probably be one thing. It'd just probably be one thing. And then I'd look at it and be like, is that really worth taking off a 0.1 mark for? And ultimately I'm going to decide no, and it's still going to stay a perfect 10. And, yeah, so 9.5, averaging it all out, got a 9.5. So, yeah, that's great. Well, I feel like that was a good review. What's that? Sorry about this, Alex. Sorry about what?